Hello everyone and welcome back to Optimized FPL. So we're going to be looking back at my team and their projected points and how they did in comparison to them in Game Week 1. We're going to be looking at players I'm going to consider after watching all the Game Week 1 games. Then we're going to look at the final team for next week and their projected points for Game Week 2. So let's start. Starting off in net, we have Brighton's goalkeeper Sanchez. Unfortunately, he did concede to Burnley. They still won the game, and it was a pretty lackluster performance from the Brighton team, but they still got the win, so that's good for them, but it wasn't great for our teams. Okay, let's move on to defenders. Starting off with Trent and Alexander-Arnold. Got the clean sheet. Didn't get much else in the Norwich game, which is unfortunate, but he was really attacking, so I think that there are possibilities for him to get some more points. Think he's looking good for them definitely the next couple of game weeks, so definitely a hold for now. Luke Shaw comes in next. He only got us 1 point. They conceded to that amazing Luke Ayling goal, and he got a yellow card as well. But he was really on the attack. I mean, really the Manchester United defense is only going to get stronger with Varane in there, so I think he can definitely get some more points in the near future. Lastly, in our defense was Tsimikas. Again, same as Trent. Got 6 points, which is good. Got the clean sheet. That's all we want. That's all we were really looking for him. If he got any attacking returns, that would have been absolutely excellent. But we weren't expecting too much from his first game, taking over as from Robertson. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully he can keep starting in the near future. But it looks like Robertson's coming back and will probably be back next game week. Or not next game week, but for Chelsea. So we got him probably for one more game before we either have to ship him or throw him to the bench. Moving on to our midfield, our captain, Mo Salah. What a game from him, eh? Got a goal, 2 assists. Just an absolutely amazing performance from our captain. Pretty hard to one-up it. Obviously, we have somebody in the team that did one-up it, but very hard performance to one-up. Just an absolutely excellent performance. I'm really looking forward to his next game. Our vice-captain and second main man in the team, Berno Fernandez, getting a hat-trick. A hat-trick against Leeds. What a fantastic performance. Honestly, I'm so happy I decided to pick him and keep him. I know there were a lot of people that were Bruno, but I think that he has just shown that he really does run that Manchester United midfield. Another Manchester United player, Greenwood, he did well enough, got the goal that we were looking for. I don't know if he got any bonus points, I can't remember off the top of my head, but he got himself a goal. Looks like he's going to be starting at least next game week. It's a little bit worrisome when Sancho and Cavani come back because his spot in the team becomes a little bit more uncertain. But I think that we can definitely hold on to him for a little bit longer. I think at his price point, he's a great option. And if he can keep starting up front, that would be even better. Yeah, definitely a hold for now. Rafinha with only 1 point. Slightly disappointing, but honestly not too surprising. I mean, he was playing Manchester United. You're not really expecting Leeds to do a huge amount of damage to them. The fact that he even got a goal was pretty amazing. I mean, Luke Ayling's shot was wonderful. But yeah, I'm really looking for Rafinha in the next couple weeks. Unfortunately, he might be going away with Brazil, so that could be a problem. Could be looking to transfer him out relatively soon because unfortunately he's gonna miss the games that we wanted him for in game week 4 and 5. He will be missing Liverpool in that time, so I mean, obviously, having a Leeds player against Liverpool's defense is not something. If you lose him, it's not like it's a huge deal, but you obviously want to have Rafinha in your team because Leeds are such an attacking threat, really against anybody. I mean, last season, first game of the season, wasn't it 4-3 if I do recall. So yeah, we could definitely want to keep Rafinha in the team, assuming that he sticks back. If he's gonna miss game weeks 4 and 5, it might be time to move him on maybe next game week or maybe game week 3. Moving on to the attack, and Danny Ings pulling a goal out in the 97th minute against Watford. That was not a game that I expected to go that way. Yeah, I mean, Watford coming up and showing that they're not going to be pushed around. Getting a big win against Aston Villa, 3-2. A lot of Watford's attack, or somebody that I'm now looking at, especially Dennis, especially at his price point, but we'll talk about that soon. But back to Danny Ings. Got the goal from the penalty. It's nice to see that he's going to be on penalties when Al-Ghazi's not on the field. Assuming Watkins comes back in, I don't see Al-Ghazi starting as much. So I think that could be very good for us. I can see Watkins on the left, Bailey on the right, Buendia behind him, and then Ings up top. So there's no room for Al-Ghazi then, and then Ings will be on penalties, which would be fantastic. Antonio and West Ham had a fantastic game against Newcastle. I mean, the first half definitely wasn't going their way, down 2-0, and then they just had to pull it back, and they did so with some venom. Antonio getting, I believe, a goal and 2 assists, missing a penalty, unfortunately, which did hurt his score, but still 13 points is nothing to scoff at. An absolutely fantastic performance from the big man up top. Yeah, I think him and West Ham can do really well this season. Again, I am worried about him in the Europa League. His hamstrings are not used to playing a consistent amount of football, so hopefully he can get some rest in between those games and play a lot more in the Premier League than the Europa League. But I guess we'll have to wait and see how that goes. And to finish things off, we have Callum Wilson. He got a goal, which is fantastic. I really wasn't expecting a lot from Newcastle, at least in this first game against West Ham, because West Ham do have a good defense, but him and St. Maximin were fantastic together. I mean, that cross, I mean, Callum Wilson basically just had to be there. That's all he had to do was just be there, because St. Maximin did all of the work for him with all the crossovers and all that. It was ridiculous. Really sent Rice to another planet, but that's another story. But yeah, so Wilson doing what he does, gets a goal. Yeah, and that's all we needed him to do. Hopefully he can continue doing that for the next few game weeks. On the bench, it was unfortunate that we had Ayling there because he did get the goal, but he did lose the clean sheet, so it wasn't that too big of a deal. He would have been in for Tamikas anyways, so, you know, it would have been basically the same amount of points. And then Armarty, again, it was the three of them against Tamikas. I just thought Liverpool had the better chance of getting a clean sheet, and they did, but yeah, I mean, all three of them got 6 points, so it could have been any one of them. So the predicted score for this team was 62.4. Now, obviously, this game week was absolutely insane. I mean, the average score for the average team was higher than this predicted score, so amazing if they were below it somehow. But yeah, they obviously smashed it. We'll see the score now. Yeah, we got 104 points in the first game week, an absolutely mind-boggling score. I mean, this is not something you're going to be seeing every game week, for sure. You'd be hard pressed. I think last season I didn't get a single 100-point game week from without using a chip or a double game week. So yeah, so that's obviously our overall score because it was just the first game week, and our overall rank is looking decent at 185k. Yeah, I would love to be able to keep up these type of rankings through the entire season, but we'll have to wait and see, I guess. There are a few players I'm considering after game week 1. The first one is Benrahma, a very, very good player for West Ham. He's shown through. His price did go up, unfortunately, to 6.1, but I could definitely see him coming out for Rafinha if he does end up going with Brazil to those friendlies. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. But I could definitely see Benrahma coming in for Rafinha. Another player that could be coming in for Rafinha is Mbabu. I'm saying that right, from Brentford. He was playing up top with Tony. I mean, they played really well against Arsenal. We'll see how he does in the future, but I think an out-of-position midfielder that's playing striker could be a great addition, even if it is from Brentford. Moving on to the 3 attackers I'm looking at for game week 2. Tony, I was looking at him at the beginning of the season. He played really well against Arsenal. Didn't get a goal, unfortunately, but I guess fortunately for us because we didn't have him. But yeah, I think he could be definitely somebody I could bring in maybe for Wilson or for Ings in the future. Another one is Watford's Dennis. At 5.0, he could be a great enabler. Bringing him in and potentially bringing in someone like Lukaku beside him, it'd be great to have those two in. Yeah, and then the final one would be Calvert-Lewin. I think he could be a very easy swap from Ings to Calvert-Lewin just because of the fixtures. Maybe in a couple of game weeks, maybe not this game week, but he did get off to scoring against whoever Everton were playing. I can't even remember off the top of my head. Oh yes, they're playing Southampton. So yeah, Calvert-Lewin scoring against Southampton, having a great game. Very easy switch from Ings. And then the final player I'm looking at in defense for maybe Tsimikas when he's finally gone, if I can get 1 million extra, is Reguilon. I would love to get a Spurs defender in here. I'm a big Tottenham fan. I know that we got I'd say pretty lucky to keep a clean sheet against Man City. But I do think that Spurs fixtures are looking pretty good, and I think that our defense is definitely strengthening with Romero coming in. So I would like a player that has some attacking threat as well from the Spurs defense, which, I mean, Reguilon is really the only one. Because on the right side, Tanganga is fantastic at defending, but he's not much of an attacker. Doherty is not great at all, and Aurier is off in his own world. It doesn't seem like he's going to be playing either. So, yeah, I think Reguilon is definitely the best option. Okay, so let's move on to the final confirmed game week for my team, Sanja Daddy. Let's look through it. Okay, so starting off in net, we have Brighton Sanchez sticking in the team. Playing Watford at home, they played pretty amazingly against Aston Villa. So let's hope that they can not repeat that against Brighton, because that would be not great for us. I would love to see Brighton be able to keep a clean sheet against Watford, but they do have some great attacking prowess, it seems. So we'll have to wait and see how they play. Yeah, I'm not looking for too much. I'm expecting maybe 3 points. Hopefully get some bonus point, or not bonus points, but extra points from saves. So let's hope we can get at least 3 points. That's what I'm looking for from Sanchez this week. Our first defender we're looking at is Trent. They're playing Burnley at home. I'm really hoping that they can keep a clean sheet against Burnley after Brighton were not able to keep a clean sheet against Burnley. It would be pretty disappointing to see them concede. I think that they really should be keeping a clean sheet against them and hopefully putting a couple past them. Yeah, so let's hope that Trent can get some returns here. So we've got Luke Shaw against Southampton away. I think that Shaw and Manchester United, again, should be keeping a clean sheet, but Southampton did have a pretty good start to the game against Everton with a goal from Adam Armstrong. It'll be interesting to see how he plays. He could actually be another player that I'm considering, because he is quite cheap at $6 million. But we'll have to wait and see if he can continue the scores. But I really hope he doesn't, at least in this game week, so Shaw can keep that clean sheet and even potentially get some bonus points. I mean, Southampton's defense is super weak, so I'm expecting a lot of goals in that game. Our final defender for the game week is Tsimikas. Again, him and Trent, I'm really hoping for a clean sheet against Burnley. I'd be pretty disappointed if we don't see one. I mean, Burnley don't have that much firepower, like I said earlier, so looking into our midfield, we've got Mohamed Salah as our main man and captain, playing Burnley at home. Again, I've talked about it a bunch because I've tripled up on Liverpool, but Burnley's defense, although are very strong, I do think that they are there for the taking. I think Burnley can definitely concede some goals pretty quickly, and I think that Liverpool's firepower should definitely be enough to get past them. I'm expecting at least 1 or 2 goals, hopefully both from Salah. Moving on to the midfield, we've got Fernandez as our vice captain against Southampton. I'm really torn between him and Salah as our captain. Southampton's defense is super weak. They just lost Vestergaard to Leicester. I'm not even really sure who's their main center back pairing now with them gone. I know they have Walker Peters and Perud in defense, but their center back pairing seems super weak. And last season, McCarthy was not great for them between the sticks. Him and Foster were rotating at one point. So I could really see Manchester United definitely getting some goals, very similar to the Leeds game. I'm expecting Fernandez to be in the middle of it all. I think just having him is good, but obviously captaining him would be definitely better. But I think I'm going to stick with Salah. But Fernandez could definitely sway me if I want to take a punt right before the game week starts. Our final Manchester United player is Greenwood, similar to Fernandez. He's going to be in a lot of the play for Manchester United. Probably starting up top. It doesn't seem like Cavani is going to be starting. At least that's what it sounds like from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So hopefully he can get some returns again. Southampton's defense, super weak in my opinion. So I think there could definitely be some goals here. The final player in the midfield is Rafinha, playing Everton at home. I'm not expecting Rafinha to get the extra bonus points for the clean sheet. I can definitely see Everton scoring some goals against them. But I do see Everton's defense also as a relatively weak one. Pickford came off an amazing season in the Euros. Um, so I could see him doing well, but I just think the players in front of him are not going to be strong enough to be able to hold out the Leeds attack. Um, yeah, I mean, Keane and Holgate and Godfrey are all relatively good defenders, but I just don't think that they have enough to stop Leeds' attack. I think that the way they attack is just too much for them to be able to handle. So I think that Rafinha should be hopefully getting some points here. Hopefully before he leaves for the Brazil team, we'd like to see him get a few points. Would be nice. Starting off our attack, we've got Ings. I could definitely see him doing very well against the Newcastle defense at home. It seemed like Newcastle were actually playing more like a back five, or maybe a 3-5, a 3 with two wingbacks. I still think that Aston Villa should be able to take them to the cleaners, very similar to the way West Ham did. I don't think that Villa will keep a clean sheet, but I definitely could see Newcastle conceding more than Aston Villa here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. I think Ings could definitely get a pretty big score here, especially if El Ghazi doesn't start and the penalties are still his. I think Newcastle are pretty susceptible to giving away penalties, so I think Ings could definitely be a great shout for this week. Moving on to Antonio, he's playing Leicester at home. This is going to be a difficult one for him. Leicester kept a clean sheet against Wolves. They looked pretty well. They looked pretty good defensively. So yeah, I'm just a little worried about the West Ham man, but I do think that he can still get a return. But I think it's going to be difficult. I'm not expecting too much from him. A 2-pointer would definitely not shock me, but I would prefer, obviously, to get something a little bit better from him. And the final player in our attack is Wilson. Like I was saying earlier, I think it'll just be a game of who outscores the other. Aston Villa's defense way overperformed last season. I don't think they're as good as maybe we all thought they are. I could see them definitely conceding some goals, and I think Newcastle's Wilson and Saint Maximin could really be a great pair up there. So yeah, I'm thinking Ings and Wilson could definitely get a lot of points this weekend. Basically, just whoever can score the most goals on each other. The bench is staying the same. Ayling, Armarty, Brownhill. Ayling, I'm just hoping that if Tamikas actually doesn't start for some reason, and we lose him to Robertson, then Ayling can come in. Everton's attack is very good, but I just think Ayling's attacking threat is a lot more than Armarty's. So I'm hoping that we can at least get 2 points from that. And the reason Brownhill's still on the bench is because I just don't see him starting. I thought he was going to be starting this year, but the first game in against Brighton, he wasn't starting and he got subbed on for a 1-pointer. So I'm hoping a little bit more from him, but I guess we'll have to wait and see where his final place in the team is. I think Basuma probably would have been a better pick because at least he plays every week and can get those 2 to 3 points. So maybe in the wild card I can take Brownhill out and bring in Basuma, assuming that Brownhill doesn't nail down a place in the next probably 6 to 7 game weeks. Okay, so let's look at the predicted score for this team and see how well we are hoping to do at least. So for this week, our predicted score is actually higher than last week. This week it's 67.7. Obviously, we can't always hit the predicted scores. But if we can get anywhere near it, I'm hoping for at least a 65 or 60 to 65 point game week. If we can somehow consistently get that, that would be amazing. I mean, that's how you win FPL, right? Just by getting these points. But obviously, it's easier said than done. So let's hope we can get the predicted score this week. So yeah, the game week score is obviously 0. Overall score is the same. Overall rank's the same. So yeah, let's hope that we can get these scores and look forward to the next week and this weekend to see what happens. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. The link to the league is going to be in the description. And cheers, everyone.